The first round of the playoffs was both historical and underwhelming. It was very cool to see the playoff atmospheres in South Bend, Happy Valley, Austin, and Columbus. All but one of the games were never really close or competitive. The second round of the playoffs will be different. I fully expect the games to be much closer, especially now that they are at neutral sites, and that these will be some of the best football games of the year. So as we celebrate a new year, here's who I think will be celebrating a little extra with playoff wins on either New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. Starting with the Fiesta Bowl, where interestingly, neither participant has lost the Fiesta Bowl in their program's history. Penn State is 7-0, and Boise State is 3-0. You may remember one of those Boise State wins.
Right, Boise State for the win. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won!
And just like how they beat Oklahoma, they will need to beat another powerhouse program against all odds. Penn State has looked very good these past 2 weeks, playing a very close game against number 1 Oregon and dominating against SMU at home in their playoff opener. The very good Penn State defense had 2 pick sixes, and they'll need another heroic performance in Arizona. Ashton Jeanty will need to win this game for Boise State. If he can't force the Nittany Lions to move defenders inside, there'll be a very long day for the Broncos. However, if he can have a good day and Boise State can take advantage of play action and take some shots downfield, they have a chance. And, by the way, Jeanty has done it before against Oregon, where they narrowly lost. However, I just can't pick against Penn State right now. They're playing too well. Yes, Penn State usually struggles in big games, but I think this defense, led by Abdul Carter, will be able to do just enough to slow down Jeanty. Then Drew Aller and Tyler Warren will be able to continue playing at a high level. I predict Penn State to stay perfect in Fiesta Bowls with a 31-20 win. Another hopeful underdog with a very good running back is Arizona State, who unfortunately for them, doesn't have the luxury of staying in Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl. Instead, they will travel to Atlanta to meet with the Texas Longhorns in a Peach Bowl showdown. Both teams are going to want to run the football. Texas effectively ran the ball in a win against Clemson to start their playoff journey. Meanwhile, the Sun Devils, Cam Scadaboo,
you got to invite friends to the party if you're going to tackle Scadaboo. You got to invite every contact.
has ran the ball well all year, including Arizona State's conference championship win over Iowa State. Texas is the biggest favorite out of the 4 games, and while I understand it, I also have my doubts. Clemson lacked a run game due to injuries, even at one point using a wide receiver in the backfield, and yet we're still able to remain competitive. Even more concerning for Texas, they missed multiple opportunities to put the game away against the Tigers, with the game getting within 7 points in the 4th quarter. A win is a win, but I don't think this will be an easy win for Texas like people think it will be. In fact, I think an upset could be brewing. Scadaboo didn't receive an invitation to New York as a Heisman finalist. Coach Kenny Dillingham lost Coach of the Year to Kurt Cignetti, and his team overall is a 14-point underdog who almost everyone is doubting. Arizona State has had time off to prepare and time to get healthy, and while I wouldn't be surprised at all if Texas does win, I'm going to predict the upset. Arizona State shocks the world 28-24. What very well may be the game of the year in the perfect setting. Ohio State and Oregon battle in the Rose Bowl. Ohio State successfully recovered from a catastrophic loss to Michigan with a dominant win over Tennessee. In the game, I'll admit I picked Tennessee to win. And despite the fact the Buckeyes lost the Ducks in round 1 in Eugene,
Howard's going to run for it. Time runs out, and that'll do it. Oh my goodness. Welcome to
the 2.5-point favorites before round 2 in Pasadena. This game is as close to a coin flip as it gets. Lots of NFL talent on both teams, on both sides of the football, especially at receiver with Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State and Tez Johnson at Oregon. I think this game, however, will be won by the quarterbacks. If Will Howard can play like he did against Tennessee, then Ohio State should find themselves advancing to the Final Four. If not, the Ducks will have the advantage. Dylan Gabriel has played his best on the big stage this season, against Boise State, Ohio State, and Penn State. I trust Gabriel more to get the job done and get the ball to his playmakers when he needs to, like he did in the first meeting. Gabriel's a Heisman finalist for a reason. Which defense can get stops in what I expect to be a high-scoring one will also be a deciding factor. I trust Ohio State's defense more, especially after Oregon gave up 37 points to Penn State, but not enough to pick against Dan Lanning's Ducks. Oregon keeps the undefeated season alive, 38-35. In an equally close but probably lower scoring game to conclude the weekend, Georgia and Notre Dame meet in New Orleans for the Sugar Bowl. Georgia's undefeated against Notre Dame, something most football programs can't say. That will be put to the test with backup quarterback Gunnar Stockton. Carson Beck is out for the season, but Stockton has already proven himself with a comeback win against Texas in the SEC title game. The extra time to prepare has helped as well, I would imagine. Georgia will want to win this game by running the ball, controlling the clock, and playing good defense, all things they are capable of. Notre Dame will also want to run the ball well, like they did against Indiana, control the clock, and play good defense. So as you can probably guess, this should be a close, low-scoring game. Georgia is a small favorite, and I agree with that. I think Kirby Smart will make the difference in this one. With Dabo Swinney out now, Kirby's the only coach remaining in the playoff who has won a national championship. That matters, and as I've said before, as long as it's not Alabama, I trust Kirby to win big games. Also, I know we've all heard plenty about strength of schedule recently, but the fact Georgia has had the most difficult schedule in the country and still made it here means something. I think Georgia finds a way and advances to the Final Four. Bulldogs 20, Fighting Irish 17. We may very well be in for some thrillers on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. At least I hope so. The way I see it right now, Penn State, Arizona State, Oregon, and Georgia will live to fight another week. I will almost certainly be wrong about at least one of them. We'll just have to wait and see. Happy New Year, and as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.